Stop! You have to see this. This is so cool. This is located at docs.nerdenterprises.com, and I'm going to explain why that's important later on. But first, let me show you what this front door looks like, how easy this is. If you've ever struggled for how you're going to get documents from clients and get them stored and organized and categorized and easily referenced, I promise you this is the answer that I've been trying to solve for this for like 10 years. All I do is click Add New Client. I fill in the name, I can customize the slug, which is that last tail part of the URL, and I can upload a logo file, and boom, I've got my form created. Now I'm going to use my own form for Nerd Enterprises for how I'm now uploading my own internal and personal documents, right? So that's the front door. That's it. In about a minute, I can share a live form with one of my members, or customers, as you might call them. They can upload gobs of documents all at once, and this process that I'm about to show you is going to automatically grab those documents, rename them, store them in Google Drive where I want them, and then create share links in a Notion database so I have them organized, categorized, and easily referenced, and it's going to do it in just minutes. So here it is. I've got some files selected here. I'm going to drag this outside of the region where you can see, but I just wanted you to see, what's going on here. So here I have from my ScanSnap processing folder documents that I want to upload. Over here we have the local folder where Claude Cowork is going to do his thing, but as I'm going to explain later in more detail, Claude Cowork alone could never do this whole entire process. What I built here, which you're looking at, was designed with Claude Code, and then Claude Code set things up with Cowork. And over here towards the right, I have my Google Drive folder where the processed documents or documents that are processing are going to come in. Once I'm done, I drag them into process so I know sort of what's been dealt with and what hasn't. I'm just going to put my name in. There is no login required, which is why a lot of clients or members or whatever you call them won't want to use something like a Google form or whatever. So I'm just going to take those files. I've got 14 of them, and I'm going to click Send Document, and it's done. It says thank you, and then I can upload more if I wanted to. Okay. But now I'm gonna go back to this page here, and now I'm gonna bring up Claude. Normally this would run on a schedule if I just waited, but if I want to process them now, oops, and I always like to be polite to Claude, so I say please. And now Claude's gonna do his thing. And what I want you to see is here, he's dropping the files in, and in a little bit I'll explain where these files actually went to originally before they got here. The short answer is very secure. You can see in the background he's running, he's spending tokens. And I can explain to you that what he's doing after he drops the files in is he's going to invoke Cowork. Cowork is going to analyze these documents and rename them beautifully according to a name convention that I've established. And then once he's done with that, they're going to get moved over to Google Drive. This is something that could never be done by Cowork alone, with one important exception before somebody starts, writing it to me in the comments saying, oh, Cowork can do it if you use Google Drive Mirror. Yes, Google Drive Mirror is exactly not what we ever want, though. It defeats the whole purpose of having a Google Drive because now you also have to have all your files stored on a local folder on your hard drive, right? This is 100% file stream, and once you have it set up that way, no documents ever need to live on your local computer. So bottom line, it's more secure, and it's also it's accessible, right? I don't want files living on my computer's hard drive that I can't get to if I walk away. I want something I can access from here no matter where I go or where I am. And he may need permissions, right? So Claude came up here and he's asking me to allow something. This doesn't happen too often, and I have, and when you set up yours, you can work with him to minimize this. But there are times when, for security reasons, he's going to need a permission before you can continue the process. Okay, now watch what happens on my screen here, because he's about to finish the process of renaming the files. If you're looking at Claude while he does this, you'll see he's analyzing the files, getting information he needs, and confirming what he needs to so that he can rename everything properly. So I have to give him permission. I'm going to click Allow Once and watch him go. So boom, he renamed all the files and instantly moved them over. And what's happening, and you'll learn this if you actually implement this process, is depending on the source of the document, the analysis, the way he scans these files, works a little differently. So now that he's got all the files, I mean, look how beautifully everything is named now. And again, I just sat here. I didn't have to do a thing. So he's renamed them beautifully. And now what he's doing is he's going to grab the Google Drive links. He has to wait for everything to sync up, which the little cloud icon indicates that it has. And then over here in Notion, he's going to start adding things. And so he's basically, what he's doing is the equivalent of me clicking here and saying share with Google Drive, and I get the share dialog, and I can get the link and then set up the document in here. And while he's working on that, I might as well take the time to explain to you why that's important. Is because this way these files stay in Google Drive. They live in Google Drive. I have much better ownership of the actual files there than I do if they're in Notion, which uses Amazon Web Services living on their server. If Notion goes down, I don't have access to my documents. Notion doesn't go down very often, but Google Drive never goes down. I can't remember the last time I had an issue where I couldn't access Google Drive. So that's the beauty of this whole system, is they're stored in a way that I retain full ownership of the files, but it also makes it really easy to share and access from any device anywhere, which I could never do if these files lived exclusively on my local hard drive. Okay, and the documents are coming in. You can actually see them rolling in here in real time. You'll note that what I've done is I created a view of this database with the name Claude based on anything tagged Claude, and I have Claude configured to tag all the Notion pages he creates here with Claude, so this way I can easily and quickly see and analyze anything that he's added in. To me, that's very important from a sort of audit trail standpoint, so I can confirm what he's done, make sure it's all accurate, make sure it's done well. And while he creates the rest of the pages, I'll just pick on any of these. They're all kind of harmless. Here's a Zoom invoice, right? So I'll click View, and there it is. There's your Google Drive preview, right? It lives in Google Drive. I can open it with Google Docs. I can share it. I can do anything that I need to with this document, yet it lives in my Google Drive environment, which means I have local access to it through a Windows Explorer folder, but it's not actually living on my hard drive. It's just here in my Google Drive Nerd Enterprises drive file stream, which works and looks like it's in a local folder, but it's actually not, right? And this way I have the best of all worlds. So in just a few minutes from the moment I uploaded 14 documents, they got moved into a local folder so Claude Cowork could rename them, moved over to Google Drive, the share links generated, the entries added into the Notion database, so that in a matter of minutes, everything is organized, categorized, and easily referenced. Notice the categories are here, they're tagged. He assigns the member, which I'll probably have to review and fix in some cases. So bottom line, he does a lot of the work for me. I'll maybe tweak a few things, and then it's done. But this definitely collectively is going to save me hours and hours and hours, and especially from the perspective of gathering documents from your clients, this is going to make their life so much easier, especially because they don't have to log in to another service. I don't know how many times in my career I've heard that from clients saying, I don't want to have to log into something. This eliminates that friction. You literally just create the form like I showed you in the beginning, and you share that with them, and they just go and upload as many documents as they need. And you either have Claude Code set up to run a schedule to process those documents, or you go in like I did here and type process documents, and boom, he's off and running. You'll probably need to give more permissions up front, but then you work with him and ask him how to update things so that you don't have to give as many permissions. That's what I've been doing, and over time there's less and less permissions required in order to complete this process. That's the pipeline. Client uploads documents, or in this case, I uploaded my own. I touched nothing. 3 minutes later, organized, categorized, easily referenced. The bottom line is this becomes a system I can trust because I can find something no matter how long it's been in less than 10 minutes. Less than 10 seconds in most cases. Quick story on this. I think I mentioned earlier, this is a problem I've wanted to solve for like a decade, but of course until recently the technology was never really there. There have been other tools people use to collect documents. You've probably used some of them. Google Forms, I think I mentioned. The problem is you have to log in. That's for security reasons, so I can't blame Google because that's one of the ways they keep anything uploaded to their servers secure. So again, now the problem is solved. I can capture anyone's documents the moment they uploaded them. My app clarifies and organizes them in a system I can trust, owned by me, stored in Google Drive, cataloged in Notion, period, full stop. Now here's why this matters. This is the documents view, or the Claude view, I mean, in my documents database. So if I want to pull up a recent bill I know I got for $500, boom, there it is. The column's cut off. You can't see the full name. So this is what Notion does. Notion is the application I use to sort of wrap the whole system that I can trust. It's one singular operating system. It's not plural. We have lots of processes. Managing documents is one process in a larger operating system. And as I just showed you, this system is optimized for retrieval. And another thing I want to reiterate, in case you came in later or weren't paying attention at the time, is these files don't live in Notion. They can be referenced within Notion, but they live in Google Drive. So when I click that view link, here I am looking at the document in Google Drive. And what's cool about this is you saw how all the files went to what looked like a local folder, but it's Drive file stream, so it's really living on Google's servers. And you might think, well, what if I want to move those files around? You can, because everything in the way this system is built, each file has a file ID. So it doesn't matter what folder you put it in, you're not going to break any links as long as you keep things inside of Google Drive. So bottom line, this process, once it's built, click, view, boom, I have it. And recently, it was like right after I had finished kind of building and perfecting this whole system, I needed to share something with my brother. So this made it so easy because I just clicked share, and I just changed the access here to anyone with the link, copy link, done, and send it to him. This way, my brother was able to see the document without experiencing any friction. I didn't have to invite him in to log into his own Google account, which that would be another way. So how do I build this? I'm so glad you asked. Here's a simple answer. I'm going to give you this link wherever you're watching this video. If it's on YouTube, you'll find this link in the description. If you want to go a little deeper on things in general with me, then you'll also find a link that will take you over to the community. You can certainly study this there. If you want my help, if you want to ask me questions, of course you can comment on the video on YouTube, but a much faster response, or a much faster, better way to get a response from me would be to join the community and do it there. I'm obviously active in there all day long, but either way is fine. So these are going to be the step-by-step instructions that are going to walk you through exactly how to set this up. The first of which is having your branded subdomain ready. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to give you the very meta answer to how to do this and how to do it really seamlessly. The way that I did it. I actually went to Claude one day and I said, Claude, this is what I'm looking to build. How do I do it? And one of the sort of subversions of that is getting the subdomain. I actually went to Claude one day and said, Claude, you know, I know how a lot of services that I've used have had me set up a subdomain, and it gives me the information I need to point the name servers over. So I know how to set it up that way. I said, but what if I want to create my own page that lives in a subdomain? Well, he walked me through how to do it, and after a little bit of back and forth, we nailed down the process. We set up the subdomain using Pages and GitHub. I connected GitHub to Claude, so now anytime I want to build something, I can do it very easily by simply using Claude code, telling him to use the GitHub connector. The code lives in a GitHub repo, and it's done. Okay, so that's part one of how to get this set up. And I have a detailed series in my community that walks you through how to create the branded subdomain in case it's not something you feel comfortable or confident just doing on your own, or even with Claude holding your hand. Okay, the next thing, and I mentioned this at the very beginning of the video, when I first uploaded those documents, you may have seen that they didn't go into the local folder where Claude Code worked on them. That didn't happen until after I asked them to process those documents. And I mentioned I would explain later where those documents actually go, and there's your answer. It's in Supabase. And the reason for that is A, security, B, it's a great backup. At one point in the conversations I had with Claude while we were designing and developing this process, Claude asked me if I wanted him to just delete the files once they'd been processed, and I said, no, you know what, why not leave them there? It doesn't cost any extra, and that's like a backup. Supabase. And once you use Supabase to build this process, really what I want you to understand, and I think I mentioned this in the beginning of the video, I certainly wrote it in the write-up, that once you have this process kind of built for this exact process, you also have the foundation for anything else you ever want to build. Period. Full stop. Okay, next, assuming you want to do the Notion part, and that's optional, but make sure you have a Notion account, of course, okay? You're going to want to make sure Claude's connected to Google Drive, assuming you're using Google Drive. The reason I think it needs to be Google Drive is because the other file sharing services that you're likely to use, it's not going to be as easy to generate a share link like you can with the Google Drive folder like I demonstrated with you. And for those of you wondering about security, if you don't know by now, Google Drive is plenty secure. This is assuming you have a paid Google Workspace account. And if you do, you've got SOC 2 Type 2. You've got HIPAA compliant security if you elect to have that. It's plenty secure. Don't listen to people on the internet when they tell you that Google's not secure. If anything, if they tell you that, you should never take any of their advice ever again, because it means they're misleading you, misguiding you, whatever, or they're just not informed themselves, so they shouldn't be giving you advice when they themselves clearly don't know. In other words, I wouldn't trust their advice anymore. You're going to connect Claude to GitHub. Now, as of this recording, to the best of my understanding, there had been issues with Claude and the GitHub connection. So you may not be able to do that, depending if whether or not they've fixed the issues they were having. If you already had the connection done, then it's still going to be there. Great. If not, there are alternative services. What I would encourage you to do is explain to Claude what you're about to do, and then ask him for suggestions. The number one thing that I've encouraged people to look at as an alternative to GitHub is Netlify. I haven't used Netlify myself, but based on my conversations with Claude and based on that, my recommendation to others and what others have given me by way of feedback after trying, it seems to be agreed that Netlify works really, really well. Next, we're going to open Claude in a fresh project folder. The instructions will walk you through how to do that, right? You have to have Claude for desktop. This will not work on the web, right? You click the code tab, you start a new session, and these instructions walk you through the process of how to create a new project. Basically, creating a new project there just means I'm going to assign the local folder where Claude is going to initially push the code to. Then with the GitHub connection, after he pushes any code or code updates to that local folder, then he will send it up to GitHub. But everything has to be done initially on a local folder. Then you're going to paste the build prompt, which is also included here. You copy here. If you want to just trust me and run with it, then just go right into Claude Code after you've set up that project and paste this in. What I would encourage you to do is paste it into like a Notion page or somewhere so you can just review it, and this way you can tweak it any way you see fit. There may be some little detail here that you want to do differently, but big picture, don't worry too much about that, because even after pasting this prompt, you can always tweak things and change things with Claude Code once you're kind of off and running and building this whole process. He's going to ask you questions, right? So assuming you had done all the prior steps and you have that custom subdomain set up, he's going to need that information, right? So he's going to ask you questions, and you just work with him. And then once it's done and it's built, you basically have this. That's the deal. So you're first going to build the form, then you're going to have him create the admin panel, and then bottom line, you're just going to go through this process with him and iterate and say, you know what, I like this, let's leave this, I don't like this, let's change it. Now, I said this already, but just in case you missed it, this is the part I really want you to hear. The document pipeline is one app that we've built. The bigger thing that I want you to unlock from this is that by building this one app, you now have the foundation between Supabase, GitHub, or Netlify, Claude Code for sure, right? The project setup, everything in Google Drive, Notion, all wired up. All of that gives you the foundation that you can literally build anything else on top of this foundation. If you can conceive it, you can build it. Finally, final thought, word, note, drop a comment. Tell me what's the first thing you want to build once you have this foundation. I read every comment. I'll see you in the community. I'll see you on YouTube, wherever you are. Leave the comment. I would love to have a conversation with you to see what this may have inspired you to build, what you've built. And certainly if you're stuck on anything or having any kind of trouble, I am definitely here for that. So just reach out to me. Bottom line, let's build something together.